Hi guys, Trisha Dishing here, and welcome back to my channel. I wanted to do a quick video on the supposedly the JFK um, investigation releases that President Trump was tweeting about. Let me get to the right situation here. Um, anyway, on October 28th, President Trump had issued if I can get to it, he had issued a tweet at 7:38 a.m. that morning saying JFK files are carefully being released. In the end, there will be a great transparency. Yeah, right. It is my hope to get just about everything to the public. Well, kind of sounded promising, even though it's kind of a little bit too late. Well, what happens is the narrative is that a lone gunman named Harvey Oswald came and just decided to assassinate the president of the United States in Dallas, Texas, and kill him. And of course, what they always do, there's always somehow or another a lone gunman shooting. There's no other theories, even though supposedly the one bullet like entered into him and went up and did a U2 and came back through, which we know is impossible. But of course, as when they arrested Harvey Oswald, he was screaming that he's a patsy, he's being a patsy, and all this other stuff being used, that he didn't do it. Well, of course, anytime that there's a shooting that the CIA and our lovely government and whoever else is involved conducts a false flag, they always have to make sure that lone gunman gets killed because dead man can't talk. So they want to make sure that they erase whoever they're blaming, so there's no other question. So, and what's even more unbelievable is that when they were bringing Oswald in, there's pictures when they were grabbing him and they were hauling him into jail. They definitely didn't want Oswald to keep on talking because look at that man. I mean, he looked like he couldn't even harm a flea. So they come around and they're mob because, the mafia is also involved in these false flags. It's all corruption. And the mafia is big time when it comes to the United States government. They do a lot of their dirty work. We get Jack Ruby, who just comes out of nowhere and decides to kill Harvey Oswald right then and there and just kill him. So problem solved. But we know that the narrative, now back then we didn't know how bad they lied, but now we are too smart not to understand. We are too smart to believe anything that comes out of their mouth, and we should have been questioning things then, but we didn't. And so anyway, it looks like there's been more than one shooter, things like that. The timeline was crazy what they were saying. And basically what we're learning, and if you guys want to see a really good movie presentation, is how the Bush crime family planned and carried out the execution of President John Fitzgerald Kennedy. It's from Now the End Begins page. Go to them. There's a couple videos on there, and they lay it completely out. Because as you know, Daddy Bush was a part of the CIA. And look here, he has the skull and bones there, him and his son, the whole Bush family, his dad, Prescott Bush. Every one of them are crime families. They're Luciferian devil worshippers. They look like they portray themselves as, wolves in sheep's clothing. They're evil. But, when this was happening at that time, when Bush was running for office, I was such a Republican and conservative. I was believing anything that they had to say. I literally helped in my area in Pennsylvania get President Bush Jr. elected, to where it reached him so much that he sent me a personal letter written by him and also a White House Christmas card. But one day I'm going to get ready to do all the video because I want to show everybody how I became enlightened, how I became awakened to both sides, that there's no such thing as a Democrat-Republican Party authentically. Those two parties were created to make it divisive, to divide the American people. So we're fighting against each other while they're out doing their bid for the New World Order. So anyway, I'm going to do a video, and I'm going to literally, because my sister, she framed it. I mean, it's gorgeous. I mean, it was such an honor. But I'm going to rip that sucker up in front of everybody, honey, because it's disgusting. It's lies. We know that they carried out the Bush crime family, and, along with the Mossad and Saudi Arabia and things like that, carried out 9/11 and have killed millions and millions and millions of people. And I'm not being exaggerating, because you got to consider the war, all the things they didn't report, all the civilians, all the men and women who died and continually die from this 16-year war. See, they had to tell us that terrorists did it so that we can tell them, go ahead. We give them a blank check and we tell them, go ahead and fight them bad terrorists, because we're afraid. We need to wake up, guys, because anything that comes out of any of these people's mouths, they're lying. So Trump tells us, listen, I'm going to give you full disclosure and this and that. Well, then later on through that same day, Trump goes, and this is at 5 o'clock on the same day, he says, after strict consultation with General Kelly, the CIA, and other agencies, I will be releasing all JFK files other than the names and addresses of any mentioned person who still is living. I'm doing this for reasons of full disclosure, transparency, and in order to put all conspiracy theories to rest. Well, okay, whatever, if you got to blank some names out or whatever. But really, they did this. Trump, that's what I'm saying. You can't even trust Trump, none of them, because see, they gave us this little side piece of JFK files. After 50 years, you're going to see classified documentations and see things from the Warren Commission, and it's going to be, because we're just so pro for the American people. We're going to show them what happened to the president of the United States at that time. It's nothing but a sideshow. See, you got to understand, October 1st is when the shooting happened in Las Vegas, right? Also, right after that, a week after that, we've been having horrible fires in California, to which I'm getting a video together on that to show you that it was not just started by a random forest fire, but it was started by something called direct energy weapons. Yes, done by your favorite government of the world, the United States, that these fires were literally started. And oh yes, they will do things. See, these are false flags. See, false flags is political theater that's right in front of your face to get the American people to believe what what the powers that shouldn't be, their objective is. They want you to, they're leading us down this path so that way we will believe what they say. So then through their mockingbird media, what happens? We believe what the media, the mainstream media says, but they're being puppeted. They're owned by these same people, the powers that shouldn't be. So they tell us what to think. They mold our worldview. And if that has been a case, like it was my case 3 years ago, and I've awakened, I'm going to tell you something. Let it be not the case. You need to question everything your government says. Everything, anything that comes through that TV, you need to question it, because they are on a worldwide tear, basically, to bring forth this new world order. And so anyway, what happened was, so what's the narrative out of all this? What did they want us to get? Well, look at this. They're saying that the CIA intercepted a phone call from Harvey Oswald to the KGB department, which is the CIA of CIA, equivalents in Russia, in charge of sabotage and assassination before Oswald murdered JFK. Oswald had tried to defect to the Soviet Union years earlier before he was denied citizenship. The CIA did not conclude that Oswald killed Kennedy on the KGB's instruction. Do you guys see what I'm saying? They are now tying Russia. Oh, yes, Russia. Russia's responsible for everything, because they've been jonesing to go into war with Russia to take out Putin forever, because Putin is siding with Assad, who is the leader of Syria, all due to a gas pipe that is running through the Syria that the powers that shouldn't be in the New World Order is trying to run through there to connect all those through Europe, through Asia, and things like that, because they are, working on their biggest creation yet, a new world order. So Putin's standing in between that objective for them. So that's what they're trying to do. So now we're told that Harvey Oswald, guys, he wanted to go to Russia. He wanted to defect, and that's why he's a bad person. That's why he's the lone gunman. And look at this. So what should we do, people? Should we go to war with Russia now that, see, they're getting into our feelings again. They're trying to lead us down the road to go to war, but don't fall for it. It's a lie of epic proportions.